I would like to welcome each of you to this webinar. Before I begin to introduce our Professor Daniel Patino, I would like to briefly introduce myself. My name is Jasim Sheikh, and I'm working as one of the marketeers for Jönköping University. The responsibilities I have is to develop our brand globally and also meet with our potential students just like yourself. When I travel abroad and visit different fairs and meet with different potential students, I see that there is a lot of vast information out there that can be really confusing and challenging for students to make their choice. So we thought perhaps today we could do a deep dive session with our professor where we dig deep into how our programs are made, how research is embedded into them, how we have a strong collaboration with the industry, and how does that help to build an exciting international career. So we will be doing that today. And we will be talking about our, what kind of academic and professional excellence we have. Um, I would like to welcome our Professor Daniel Patino finally.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, so hopefully our interview today would help our potential live to really make a decision and make a choice for choosing why JIBS, why Jönköping University. And since this will be, this video would also be on our YouTube channel, so they could also, dive into it later on. Yeah, great. So we will start by some questionnaire. And the first question, of course, I would have for our professor is to tell us about yourself, who you are, and where you come from, and what made you become a teacher, professor.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks, Yasim, and very nice to meet all the students who are watching us live and all those students that will have the opportunity to see this video on the JU YouTube channel. Yeah, I'm originally from Italy, from the northern part of Italy. I come from a city which is called Udine, and I've been teaching before coming to JIBS 3 years ago. I've been teaching in the University of Udine in subjects such as entrepreneurship, but also human resource management and organization. And this interest for these topics is also one of the reasons why I chose JIBS, because JIBS is a center of excellence for the study and also for breakthrough frontiers in terms of teaching related to these topics. And coming back to your question, why and what made me become a teacher, I would say that I always had a genuine interest in letting and giving people opportunities to grow and to transform and to be a coach also for people.
Thank you for coming down here, and we're really looking forward to your inspiring information for our students. So my second question for our professor is, you were recently chosen by the students as one of the best teaching professors. Please tell us, how do you achieve that?
It has been an honor to me. First, it has been unexpected to a certain extent, and I welcome this award with great pleasure, because I think that it is the result to some extent to what we said before. Because what I really think that teaching, and this is valid for me, but it's also valid for so many teachers at JIBS. Teaching is a mission. Teaching is something that you call that. And I really feel that when you are in the classroom with people, you need to establish a connection with people in order to understand what is the best route for each one of your students, to let them grow, to let them find their own way. So you have to be like a more a facilitator and a door opener in a very broad sense. I think that this is one of the reasons why students appreciate
you
my
really
effort
like to engage with the students.
to engage and to motivate the students and to help the students find their own way. Yeah. And to stimulate them to reflect on how to find their own way.
It's quite interesting what you're saying, because I myself, I've been an international student here, and I can tell you that when you are coming abroad so far away from your home, you really need not just support within the classroom, but you need a lot of support outside the classroom as well. And when you have such a professor who can really dig deep and dive deep into your academic problems, or give you inspiration of what to become, how to become, that changes everything. So thank you very much.
Yes.
And we congratulate you for getting that award, and we hope that you get many more.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Yasin.
So our third question for our professor today is, could you tell us a bit about JIBS, our business school? JIBS is our business school, which is a short version of Jönköping International Business School, and the programs you are responsible for.
Yes. JIBS, I will start from the guiding principles, which inspire JIBS mission and action, which are entrepreneurial in mind, this strong drive that JIBS always has had towards promoting entrepreneurial spirit in students, not only in order to them to become entrepreneurs, but also to be entrepreneurial in their own professional lives and in the work contexts where they are going to be engaged. And entrepreneurial in mind is the first. Is the
So
first.
Entrepreneurial in mind is the first.
Yes, international at heart, because JIBS since the inception was born as an international business school with an international outreach, and with the attention of on the one side, of course, on the local roots, but with a strong focus on opening up to the world in a time where when globalization was already a very prominent issue. So international at heart is the second guiding principle.
The first one is entrepreneurial in mind, international at heart,
and responsible in action.
Responsible in action.
Yes, social responsibility, attention to our environment, attention to ethical principles is something that we really keep as paramount guiding principle, together with the other two at the same level and in a very intertwined manner.
So I would imagine all of these principles are embedded on each single program we have.
Exactly. One thing that we strive at is to guarantee in teaching and in the connections also between research and teaching that we will talk about maybe later, that these principles are strongly, as you say, embedded in our activity, in our everyday activity.
And now, could you also say which programs do you really are responsible for at the business school?
Yes, I'm responsible for the 3 master programs, which are 2 years long. These programs are the Global Management Program, the Strategic Entrepreneurship Program, and the International Logistics and Supply Chain Management Program.
All 3 of them are quite famous ones at JIBS. So let's talk more. We will, have our questionnaire continued on. I know that JIBS is renowned around the world with its research excellence, especially in entrepreneurship and family business. Could you tell our audience a bit about it, and how does that strength integrate with our programs?
Yes, of course. And as I said before, this world-class standing in research has been one of the main reasons that led me to choose JIBS as a place to work and to teach. And actually, in terms of ranking for research performance, JIBS is the The center devoted to the study of family business has been rated as second in the world and first in Europe in terms of quality of research output and productivity. And this, of course, informs strongly how we address these topics in the classroom. Because this gives us a lot of opportunities to apply the cutting-edge knowledge in these areas into everyday practice that we implement in the classroom. And this, for example, applies to courses within the programs I coordinate, courses in leadership, new venture creation, entrepreneurship.
Very exciting.
As a broader area.
Very exciting feedback by you, Professor. Because I think since we are the marketeers, and we are the ones who are actually meeting the potential students when we are traveling abroad for branding our university. And this is one of the most common questions I face and I get both from the students and their parents, that, what are your rankings and what kind of quality you stand for. So this information is quite useful for you guys to have, especially if you're really keen on looking towards that particular information. Let's dive deep into our fifth question. One of the very common questions I get from a lot of potential students is, are there any internships or real projects they will have an opportunity to work on?
Yes, of course they are, and they represent one of the strongholds of our programs. And in particular, regarding internships, students will have the opportunity during in the master programs, during their 2 years of master, to spend one semester or part of that semester in working in companies. We have quite an extensive network of companies which is managed both at the GIBS level and at the university level, and you can pick up and choose among many companies which are both local and global international companies. And students have the opportunity to do an internship which is can be connected also with the thesis work, and involves the possibility for the students to put in practice and to reflect in their everyday work in that companies on what they are learning and what they have learned in the classroom in less practical and more theoretical terms.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I think again, if I would have put myself into these shoes, this is really important information, because especially when you're coming from abroad, you don't have a lot of context within the local market. And if you find a university or a school which helps you to get those contacts, not just get those contacts, but actually get some reasonable real projects from real companies, that really actually helps to build your career and as well your CV during your time of education.
Yeah, and if I can add something to that, actually, it's nice that we have connections and projects with very big companies, multinational companies, but also the connections we have with small companies, small entrepreneurial companies, can be possible even more exciting for a student to go, because there are here in the area, there are really exciting companies pursuing entrepreneurial projects, and the degree of internationalization also of these small companies is really meaningful. So it is for a student, it is, if possible, an even more exciting environment sometimes.
Interesting.
Yes.
And
in terms of commitment, motivation. So
and GIBS plays a vital role in doing that.
Yes, indeed.
I hope you guys are having good time. We will continue our question with our professor. My sixth question, which I think is quite interesting one. Are there any students linked to the courses? Could you give some examples?
we are continuously striving to improve the experiential component of learning, and we recognize that this type of this side of education is as a key role in any type of business-related training and education, and this GIBS makes no exception in this. And in many courses, we have modules devoted to simulation based either on software, on gaming and software programs. So when you have, for example, to manage in a simulated environment an organizational change project, for example, and you need to deal with in a simulated environment with resistance to change, politics, reaction from real life, how real life people would react to the implementation of a project of organizational change. Also, we have simulation in our leadership courses where students are also engaged, not in a software environment this time, but in a physical environment of game. They are engaged in the simulation of being involved in a real company when we divide students between different hierarchical levels, the top management, the middle management, and the shop floor employees. And the students get really into this up to the point that they fight against each other. And after this, they all rate this experience as really rewarding because they really feel emotionally involved in this. And this experiential level is something that can guarantee you the most effective type of transmission of tacit knowledge as well. Not only
very interesting. And I think this is quite interesting because when you go in your real life, what you're studying academically, sometimes it's not so easy to apply that in the real world because the SMEs might not have the same knowledge as you're coming up with. So it might be hard to. So these kind of simulations always help you to plan or give some kind of a reasonable, a project planning for the organization you're going to work for. So thank you for a really good answer on that. I'm going to ask my seventh question.
Thank you.
I hear great things from our current students about extracurricular activities such as GIBS Entrepreneurship Challenge, the Innovation Runway, GIBS Sustainability Day, Startup Young Students, etc. Could you please say a few words around each of these projects and how they benefit students?
Yes, of course. Regarding you mentioned the Entrepreneurship Challenge first, and I would like to tie this also with the Innovation Runway, because both Entrepreneurship Challenge and Innovation Runway are challenges based on solving an actual problem of companies through the display by teams of students of entrepreneurial capabilities, entrepreneurial and management capabilities also. So the capacity to bring into a marketable project an idea. And in the case of Entrepreneurship Challenge, is a challenge which is common to many groups of students and is proposed by a partner company, which is the same for for each year. The challenge takes place, and the students have, and it's the exciting thing, they have a limited amount of time, so they stay up overnight and they really fight to come up with good ideas and plans around the clock actually, and the day after the challenge starts, they pitch their own ideas and they are assessed by a jury made up by professionals, experts in the field, business angels, investors, and at the end, the best idea is chosen, but as the payoff of the initiative says, either you win or you learn. So you never lose, never lose if you do this type of initiative.
Very nice. And are there any financial rewards around that as well?
Yes, there is a significant prize in terms of money actually, which is updated every year. Now I'm not sure about the amount of money that is awarded, but still it's more an incentive rather than the real purpose of the competition actually. And regarding the innovation runway, instead is another interesting type of challenge because you target real needs of small enterprises which face a challenge in their own everyday management and structure. And so students work together in a close contact with people in small firms or entrepreneurial dynamic firms to solve their everyday problems through innovative ideas. And each group of students has his own company to work with.
Interesting.
And that is really, really exciting and rewarding.
Yeah. And challenging as well.
Definitely, definitely. And other initiatives, actually, the Sustainability Day at GIBS answers to is in line. It fits with the responsible in action principle, because GIBS puts a lot of attention to the issues of sustainability, sustainable development, sustainable growth as well. And this results in several initiatives which are spread throughout the year. But on top of these initiatives, we have this great event, which is GIBS Sustainability Day, which brings together experts in the field, companies interested in the topic, and students, and establishes a dialogue, a linkage, and a lot of opportunities also to matchmaking between these entities.
I always say that I think there is no better country than Sweden to learn about sustainability. They are quite ahead in this framework, and you can see it as a daily routine in every person's life. So it's a very strong focus, especially for because we have a strong population of students coming in from bigger countries like India, Germany, Pakistan, Turkey. There, I know that sustainability are key topics of discussion. And so if you're coming as a student, you're not just going to go through these exciting entrepreneurial challenges or these innovation runway projects. You would also learn about core principles of sustainability and how do you bring them not just in your professional life, but also in your daily, normal life.
And of course, the thing is that you need to incorporate sustainability principles also in your entrepreneurial projects. So there is also a strong link between entrepreneurship and solving entrepreneurial challenges and achieving sustainability goals. So it's the big challenge of the third millennium as well.
Yeah, very exciting.
We are on top of this,
especially when we are moving away from fossil fuels and heading towards.
Indeed, indeed.
We also have this startup young shipping students. What is that?
It's connected to the initiatives assumed and brought forward by students associations and GIBS. We will maybe talk about that a little bit more. Startup Young Shopping is one of the associations that is active at the students level at GIBS, and it offers it's promoted by students for students in cooperation with teaching staff at GIBS. So also teachers are involved actively in promoting extracurricular activities, like, for example, promoting meetings with professionals and experts in a certain field, for example, with very well-known business angels or investors that are going to talk about how the financing of innovation and entrepreneurial projects. What is really out there, not only on paper, not only in the classroom when you discuss the entrepreneurial opportunities for business ideas, but how really those who put the money on the table assess an idea. And this was one of the possible initiatives that have been promoted by Startup Young Shopping Association, which is targeted at making animation at the student level around the topics of entrepreneurship.
So I hope you guys are listening to this. I think this is really exciting information. And just before I jump into my next question, Remember that this video is also going to be on our YouTube channel later on, so you can always come back on to this video. You can be inspired by this information. You can share it with your friends. You can also share it with your family. Ask us more questions if you have any. We will also have a Q&A session by the end of our interview, which will also give you the opportunity to directly ask your questions to our professor here or to me if you want. But we would still be giving answers to your questions, which we will not be able to give today. So our eighth question. I hear a lot of exciting things about field visits and student encouraged to attend conferences, seminars, and workshops, which are organized in cooperation with student associations. How do you think they help, and could you also perhaps give a couple of examples around this?
Yes, of course. As I said, Students Association and the environment of students-led initiatives at GIBS is really, really, really exciting, and is a really lively environment. So it represents an additional reason why students could choose to become GIBSers, to become GIBS students, because of this active role played by students for students, and as I said before, in cooperation with teaching and research staff.
Yeah.
And students associations are active on many fronts, and what I would like to mention among the various initiatives that go in the directions that you already talked about, field visits, opportunities of training, is the career fair that is organized by the Student Association, by JSA, which is called the Next Step.
Yeah.
And it's a very, very well organized career fair, which gives annually the opportunity to interact and to do matchmaking and to exchange experiences with the most renowned companies worldwide, and with the companies which are usually ranked at the top in the best place to work rankings.
Wow.
So that is really something valuable, that among the many, many good initiatives that are promoted at the student level needs to be mentioned.
Great, thank you very much. Coming to our ninth question, by the way, we have 10 oral questions, so we are almost close to our interview with our professor. So our ninth question is, coming back to our teaching pedagogy, how do we inspire students to achieve the best results and fight for the best?
This is a good question, as it allows me also to reconnect to the beginning of my speech, because I think that the idea of continuously providing motivation and pushing the students towards reflecting on themselves and continuously improving themselves is a key feature of education and courses here at GIBS. So continuous reflection and continuous motivation towards going beyond your own limits or your self-imposed limits sometimes. So this coaching and motivating attitude is a core principle. One other thing is the strong emphasis on team working, which is, if possible, it's even more pronounced here at GIBS than in other learning environments in other business schools. So working in teams, facing challenges in teams, stimulates in people a lot of soft skills, which are really key for being competitive in the labor market today, and also, as I said before, for growing as a person.
Yeah, it's a very interesting comment which professor just made, because I was here. Perhaps you guys have also done that. I was looking on a speech by Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, And one thing he was really keen on telling us or advising us was that the future is going to be controlled by robotics and by computers. So he said it's always good to teach our future generation the soft skills as well, because that is something which computers will not be able to do. And we need to be quite strong and understand those soft skills to be able to do real business with people, because at the end of the day you're meeting the real people, you're solving the real challenges for real people around the world.
Yes.
Lastly, we have a great community of our alumni who have achieved high goals and set great examples for JU. Could you give some examples of our alumni, and how can this network help our future potential students?
Yes, there is an active network of alumni. We have 6,000, roughly more than 6,000 alumni around the world, which graduated to GIPS, at GIPS. And there is also a quite cohesive connection among these alumni. There are many yearly meetings in the alumni chapters around the world, literally in every place in the world. And this could be really something that benefits students graduating from GIPS, because you can connect to GIPS alumni virtually in any continent and in every country in the world. And this is really something that we think is valuable. In terms of success stories, there are potentially many success stories to tell. The thing to emphasize is that GIPS graduated end up working in good managerial positions in terms of exercising competencies such as human resource management, finance, accounting, marketing, so
digital business.
It's good because the competence that we provide is on the one side is targeted as having specific knowledge in specialized fields, like as I said, supply chain management and logistics on the one side, also positions related to entrepreneurship and innovation. But at the same time, we provide also a basic and solid competence in terms of general management. And this allows our alumni to work in positions in, as I said before, in companies which are
recognized,
constantly ranked as best places to work, like Google, like multinationals like Procter & Gamble, Eli Lilly, Volvo,
IKEA.
Dell, IKEA, Spotify, Porsche as well. And one of our alumni also took a very, very brave challenge, because he was for 1.5 years CEO of Ralph Lauren.
The brand.
The Ralph Lauren brand. And then, yes. And it was a very great experience and a big challenge.
Oh, what a proud moment for the school.
Yeah, really. That was really a highlight.
Yeah. Whenever I'm meeting with you guys anywhere across borders, I always say one thing, that when you're coming to choose for your education in a new country, one thing which you don't have is the connections to the local market. Because at home you have your father and your mother who have friends working somewhere, and your friends whose network is working somewhere. So you always have some kind of connections who could give some kind of references. But when you come abroad, especially when you're choosing a university, if you look into this alumni network, this is a very strong factor which can really help you decide if you really want to choose this university or this particular education. Because what can happen is these alumni could be gate openers for you to at least get the opportunity for getting an interview by those leading corporations, or those dream jobs which you think are dream, but perhaps by coming here, you can actually achieve those dreams. thank you very much, Professor, for
Thank you.
coming down here. I really appreciate your highly insightful information.
Thank you so much.
And I hope that we would continue on with building on these webinar series. I don't know what the next theme is going to be, but stay tuned. We are, I think, going to dive perhaps deep into something what Professor teaches in his classrooms, perhaps. So that could be
That would be my
exciting
pleasure.
to show our audience and our potential students.
Sure.
Great. So let's open the house for the Q&A session for our audience. Um, if you have any questions, please go on. We will try to see if we could give answer to your questions. I need to see if so far no questions, or maybe we are not. So far, no questions. Or maybe we are not. So far, no questions. Or maybe we are not.
It's too much.
No, because this is yeah, live.
It goes in the loop.
Yeah, because this is where we are getting recorded, and that is where we are getting our video embedded.
Yes.
I think perhaps yeah, I'm going to write our email address as well, where you could send your questions, and we are pretty quick in doing that. And within 24 hours, you usually hear answers from one of our team members. So please don't hesitate to send us more questions on this email address, which I'm just going to provide.
And if you have a specific question to what I particularly said, the questions will be forwarded to me. And I will be happy to answer.
Do many master students choose to study abroad in the third semester of the second year?
Yes.
So yeah, it's we have a question by Eric Fried, who is asking about, do we have any master students who choose to study abroad in the third semester of the second year master's program?
Yes. Actually, is an opportunity that is taken by the vast majority of the students. Let's say we have a percentage between 60 up to 80% of students who decide to study abroad.
Oh, wow.
So that is an opportunity that is taken. And this is especially due to the fact that we have an excellent network in terms of top class institutions that we are connected with around the world.
So this is by itself a great experience for students to come and go through.
It is. Yeah. Wow. Definitely it is. Because thanks to its accreditation in terms of world-class certifications, GIPS is able to be into a network of really, really top class institutions and higher education around the world. So this is
yeah,
a big
I
opportunity.
think we perhaps could have also spoken about that. Maybe if you could say a few words about the quality we have with the certification that you just mentioned.
Yes.
GIPS is a double accredited business school.
It's a double accredited business school, which means that it fulfills the requirements imposed by world-leading certification institutions, and it has been the first business school in Sweden who got the double accreditation according to this.
Which are these accreditations?
These accreditations are accreditation granted by independent organisms throughout the world, which are in charge of assessing and granting the high quality in terms of ranking of higher education institutions all over the world. So
wow.
Top class standards in terms of management, education, and business related education at the global level.
This is really interesting what Professor just answered, because education is not a tangible product, it's intangible. So I always tell people that, it's always easy to measure quality of physical things, but it's very hard to understand quality of things which are intangible. And every institution perhaps can say we are the best, but how do you judge between A to the option B? You can always ask these kind of questions, that what kind of rankings they have, or what kind of accreditation they have. So because if they have some kind of decent accreditations like we have, for example, AACSB or EQUIS, that can really give you a lot of answers, that not just the quality of education would be strong, but the people coming out from this education would have a high visibility and attainability by the real employers. Let's see if we have any more questions coming in. I think we could perhaps um, wait maybe a few more minutes, and then we could end the session. But please, as I said, this video will be on our YouTube channel. Please don't hesitate to watch this, be inspired by it, send us more questions. And if you want something to be changed in what we did today, please give us some suggestions. I would be happy to look into that, and hopefully next time we would try to do it in perhaps more better way. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, Professor, for coming down here.
Opportunity.
Thank you very much. Pleasure. Bye-bye, guys.